Welcome to the light and love that is Unity of Lawrence on Zoom, but not for much longer. August is coming soon in person. Can't wait for that. And yet we will get to for the last few Sundays in July. So glad that you are here. Thank you for being a part of today and the Unity community. Let's begin by affirming with me Unity's founding principle. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And now let's join our fabulous prayer chaplain, Karen, as we begin our service, opening to that divine presence we know is within us.
Good morning. Let's take a couple of deep cleansing breaths. We all just rushed here and here we are. So breathe in and release and breathe in. Release. And we are so grateful to be here, to be with one another. We open ourselves to that heart space where we can take in the message and we can revel in the music and we can know that we are connected and that we are each one another, that we are all one. And in that, we can just be thankful and move forward in this day with peaceful mind, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful spirit. Thank you, God. Amen.
Thank you, Karen. And I love the
Michelle, you're
Sorry,
muted.
I was unmuted. I'm out of practice. But I love the word revel because unity is something I revel in on Sundays. It's an enrichment for starting my week, something to look forward to in joining community. So let's join Holly in singing God is My Source by Karen Drucker.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Lawrence. We're going to start with one of our standards today. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. And I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Thank you, Holly. I needed that reminder, and so perfect as always. Now let's say together and affirm together our Unity of Lawrence vision statement. United in divine love and joy, We celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. Millie Webb is a Kansas City based singer songwriter. Having grown up in Unity, Millie is an SEE graduate, the founder of Raise Up, a Unity based group for conscious parenting, and an active member of Unity Village Chapel. She uses her understanding of Unity principles to write music that touches on both the human experience and the Christ nature within, always seeking to bring about a smile, a tear, an aha moment. She is delighted to be sharing this morning with all the beautiful souls of Unity of Lawrence and to all joining in for today's service. Welcome, Millie Webb.
No burden of shame, guilt, or sin. None of that when I look within. Not needing to be saved or born again. No need to wait for the love to begin. Love is unconditional. I confess I'm already worthy of worthiness. I was born in grace, already blessed, made in the image of holiness. I am one with the Spirit. I am in and of the whole. My world is a reflection of this truth. I know there is no separation between my God and me. I am born in original love. I am born in original love. Every person reminder to me. Every moment an opportunity to open up, to rise up and know that I am free. I know that there is nothing more I need to be. I am one with the Spirit. I am in and of the whole. My world is a reflection of this truth. I know there is no separation between my God and me. I am born in original love. I am born in original love. Divine mind is my foundation. Divine wisdom guides my way. All abundance is my birthright, and I claim it now. I am one with the Spirit. I am in and of the whole, and my world is a reflection of this truth. I know there is no separation between my God and me. Yeah, I am born in original love. I am born in original love.
Original love. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you, Millie. Well, something else I love is Jay Pryor speaking and sharing message. Jay is a speaker, author, and executive coach from Lawrence, Kansas, with over 15 years experience helping humans access their most authentic power. Jay's signature process and book, Lean Inside, if you don't have it, you really, really look at that. A gift to yourself. Uses mindfulness and neuroscience to create a powerful understanding of the human response and emotional intelligence required to be successful, connected, and happy in the world. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you, Michelle. It's so nice to be with all of you. First of all, it's been a minute, so I'm so excited to see you on August 1st, and so excited that we're getting back in the world. I want to thank all of you. First of all, it's just nice to be here with you, but also that original love song, man. I mean, could you pick? You couldn't have picked a perfect more song than to play before I come on, because for me, that is so powerful. And having been raised Catholic and taught my whole life that I was born in original sin, right? That I came here as a sinner and that, all that whole vibe for me, being able to shed that skin has been one of the most powerful things I've ever experienced in my life. Probably the most powerful thing I've ever experienced in my life. And it's what I want for all of you. And so, one of the things I'm very clear about, and I hope that some of you who have heard me speak a number of times could actually answer this question, is what is the thing I'm always going to remind you of? And I hope that if you've heard me speak, you know that that's that you are, right? That you are that principle, that power, that light. We affirm every Sunday that there is only one power and one source in my life, and that's God, the good, and it's everywhere. And so that means it's in you. And that part of our principle of understanding that that is within us, as far as I'm concerned, is the thing, right? It's the thing to foster, it's the thing to focus on, and the thing that always, 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 always makes a difference. So I want to talk today about progress, not perfection, because in my book and in my methodology and in my work, my coaching, my training, everything I do, I really get back to this principle of progress, not perfection. And part of the reason that I do that is for myself, being able to allow myself to see my progress rather than focusing on some vision that I should have has been a complete game changer for me in all aspects of my life. Part of that is being able to baby step out what I want by being patient enough with myself to allow myself to honor and see that progress as I'm moving forward. So, first of all, I want to talk about how we transform things in our lives. So, all of us have things in our lives that we have decided about ourselves. Those things could be stuff we decided when we were 4. That could be stuff we decided when we were 20. That could be something you decided when you were 30. It doesn't matter. But what we know is that a belief is just something you've told yourself over and 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 over again. And because our language, because we don't often always pay attention to what we're speaking, we don't always know what we believe. We just know that there's something in the way, right, of us being able to fulfill on whatever it is we want. In my practice and what we know and what we teach, that there must be some belief there, right, that's in the way. But because we don't know what we believe, oftentimes we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's in the way. And so the first step for starting to figure out how to transform something in your life is to start listening to yourself about how you talk about that thing. So whatever area it is. So one of the things I want to focus on today is I want to share a little bit of my journey around physical fitness and well-being. So my whole life, I have affirmed it. I've told you all this. I know this, and many of you are my friends, and you've heard me say, I'm not an athlete. I'm a show choir girl, right? So I am somebody who will sing and dance my way all day long, but I don't want to sweat that much. Like, I don't want to get out. I hate exercise. As I became an older person, and I just turned 55 years old last month, I decided, and once I got kids, I want to live a long time, right? I didn't have my kids till I was 44 years old. So I want to live a long time. So I started being in this inquiry around how am I going to figure that out? I hate to exercise. I just think it's a waste of time most of the time. It's boring, right? So I decided to be in an inquiry, and this is what I recommend for anybody. If you want to transform something in your life, get in the inquiry around what's possible. Like, what could you start to create that could just start to shift that a little bit. And one of the best places I think to look is, how can I make this something that makes me feel good and have fun? If your focus is on feeling good and having fun, I promise, like, you focus on that, you feeling good, and you'll be amazed at what can transform and transpire from that. So what I did was, I first started just being in the inquiry around, what kind of exercise could I do that I would find fun, that I wouldn't be like, oh, that sucks, I don't want to do it, right? So at the time, my children were riding bikes. They were about 3 years old, and I'd gotten to the point where I couldn't keep up with Emmett anymore on foot. Like, he was so fast that I couldn't keep up with him on foot. So I went and bought myself a bicycle, and I invested in a nice bicycle, right? So I went and bought myself a gift, which was this bicycle. Back then, that was 8 years ago. Back then, I live in a if you're here in Lawrence, I live about almost exactly a mile and a half from Wakarusa Street, and it's uphill almost all the way, and it's a slow hill. So for me, when I first got that bike, for me to ride it out to Wakarusa and back was my thing. Like, that was enough. That was like, well, that was a lot. And it was a mile and a half. So I rode out a mile and a half, road back. I got 3 miles in, and I was proud of that. It was great. It was good. Looking back now, right, over time of the 8 years, there's all these things I did that I wasn't even conscious that I was doing necessarily, but that I did to keep giving up that exercise was something that I hated. Right? I kept having to give up that conversation. So one of the first things I think is important is to start listening to, what is the thing you say about this thing that you want in your life? How do you speak about it? How do you think about it? I started transforming my desire to have physical fitness and exercise 8 years ago. And it's taken me this long to even get to a point where I can say out loud, I am a bike rider. Last week and this week, I logged 76 miles on my bike. 76 miles is huge for me. Now, compared to people who go out and do a 100-mile ride in a day, 76 miles in a week is no big deal. Compared to me, who used to ride 3 miles and I was satisfied, 76 miles is like mind-blowing. And it's mind-blowing for me. Out of that 76 miles, what is happening, and this is what I want to like drive home more than anything, is naturally what is happening is I'm having different desires and different thoughts and different feelings. I was sharing with my Vortex group this morning and with Jessica that almost every Sunday of my life, I go to Muncher's Bakery. I love donuts. And Muncher's Bakery has the best donuts on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. They're closed right now, so I'm sorry I'm giving you a taste for donuts when they're closed. They'll be open tomorrow. But every July, they close for a week around the 4th of July. And that's usually when I'm cussing them, because I'm like, damn it, I want my donut, right? So this morning, I'm on the way to the Vortex group, and I'm thinking I'm going to go get a donut, and I get partway there, and I'm like, I don't want a donut. And then I'm like looking at myself going, why don't you want a donut? What's wrong with you that you don't want a donut? What the hell? You don't want a donut? I've never not wanted a donut in my life. I mean, that's just not even something I mean, at any time somebody says you want a donut, I'm like, yes, I'm in on the donut. My point in this is that when we start to shift our focus on things that we want and on things that we feel good, naturally things start to shift in our thinking and our speaking and our, like, as we start to get in action around those things. Now, this whole time that I've been like building up to this 76 miles, I've been paying attention to what I think and what I speak about this area of my life. And I've stopped saying things like, I don't exercise, I'm not an athlete. I've stopped saying all that stuff. And I've been conscious to stop saying it, but I haven't been like, oh, I have to, really rigorous, right? because I wanted this to be a natural expression. Now, while I've been riding my bike for the last 8 years, I got to tell you, during the pandemic, I packed on about 30 some pounds. I almost hit 200 pounds. When I almost hit 200 pounds, I was like, oh, I've never been that heavy in my life. It doesn't feel good to me. And that's what had me get back on the bike. Getting back on the bike, that very first step, like that's the pain spot. Like that's the part that hurts the most, right? It's just that starting point. But here's what happens when you start, right? The ego will kick in the ego kicks in the whole time. So just so you know, as this is going, I'm also having the ego like spew out all kinds of stuff. The worst week that my ego, where the ego was the loudest was the first time I hit 76 miles, which was last week. I hit 76 miles. I think it's a huge milestone. All week long, my brain is trashy. All week long, my brain is trashy. It's telling me, well, that's crazy. You're not going to do it again. You know, I don't even know why you're focusing on it. I mean, just all kinds of just trashy. So while it's important to pay attention to what we're speaking, right, it's also important to pay attention to what this thing is, what your brain is spewing, and to note that anything it says that tears you down is not you. Anything it says that tears you down, it's not you. What we know in unity, and what I want to drive home to you, is that you have a God self that lives inside you. My book is called Lean Inside because it's inviting you to lean inside. There's nothing out here that's going to make you happy. It's all coming in from in here. And there is a God self that lives inside of you that wants nothing for you but your greatness, your happiness, for you to be content and well and loved. And so if any of that is spewing anything other than that, it's not your God self. And I want to invite you this week to actually take on listening to your God self. Have a conversation with it if you're going to have a conversation with anything. What I can promise you is the more you practice listening to, talking to, inviting it in, asking for help from it, whatever it is, your God self, the happier you will be, the more intuitive you will be, the more things you don't want in your life will slip away. Because what we know is that we focus on gets bigger. What we focus on always expands. And so the more you focus on listening to your God self, the more you focus on listening to that voice. And that voice, again, is always right there to tell you that it loves you, that you're worthy, that you didn't have to be born. All you had to do was be born to be worthy. You didn't have to do anything. You weren't born in sin. You were born in love, and that's who you are. And that is who your God self is. But when we start focusing on perfection, or we start feeling like things have to be a certain way, I promise you that's not your God self. That's your ego. And your ego is a 911 responder. Your ego is a 911 responder. So the minute you have that idea about what could be possible for you, shoom, here comes your ego, 911 responder, right there to tell you why you can't do it. I can have an idea in the shower, and before I'm out of the shower, I've already talked myself out of it, right? If I really listen to it. What I want you to listen to is what's and strive for is what's possible for you, not what's present in this moment. See, when I got back on that bike weighing close to 200 pounds, it's the heaviest I'd ever been, and it was the hardest bike ride I ever made. And if I would listen and focus on what was going on right in that moment, I would have never gotten on the bike. But instead, what I listened to and what I was striving for and what I knew was possible was focusing on what's possible in the future rather than what's happening right this second. Now, I want you to be present in the moment, but I'm talking about your experience of yourself. So while you may have an experience of yourself as in that moment, I was overeating sugar. I was like all carved out. I was like cranky, all the things, and heavy. None of my pants fit me. Even the big pants I bought when I went up a level in pants, all of that wasn't happening. If I focused on that, I would get depressed. I'd get sad. I'd be like, this is impossible. All of those things. And the ego loves that, right? Because that's, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. But instead, I started focusing on what was possible. I started focusing on what would feel better than those thoughts. Being able to shift your perspective is so important. And being able to shift your perspective is a muscle, right? So we have to practice this stuff. And when you're practicing, you have to notice that sometimes it's going to take you like, getting back on the horse and getting back on the horse and getting back on the horse. And so what I love about progress, not perfection, is if you can focus on the little incremental pieces of progress that you're making instead of being perfect, you're allowed to fall off the horse. You're allowed to like screw up. You're allowed to take one step forward and two steps back. Instead of when we focus on perfection, if we don't reach that perfection or whatever we think we're going to go for, then we quit. I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years now. 2005 is when 2005 is when I started my business. And so in 2020, I celebrated 15 years of having been in business by myself. And one of the things I know about being an entrepreneur is there's one important tool that everybody has to know. Being an entrepreneur is a spiritual experience. We have to have a lot of faith because I don't have somebody cut me a paycheck every week, right? That's just not happening. So I have to have a lot of faith that what I'm doing is going to make the money I need to survive and thrive and feed my family. Like, it's a spiritual experience. But there's only one principle of being an entrepreneur that makes the biggest difference and will sustain you throughout. And that is, you can't quit. If you quit, then it's over. Game over. In the 15 years I've been an entrepreneur, there's been times when I failed, right? There's been times when I failed to bring in the money that we needed that month, when I failed to, fulfill on some of my goals as an entrepreneur. But the one thing I never did and haven't done, and I'm I never say never because I don't like to say never, but I don't quit. And the fact that you don't quit is what has that, and you focus on that progress, not perfection, then you're always in the game. And what I know is that being in the game is way more fun and way more important than standing on the sidelines, watching everybody else be in the game. So I'm somebody who's always going to get in the game and somebody who's always going to play and not quit. And by focusing on progress, not perfection, that really gives me an like opportunity to swing full out. Now, something I want you to note, that there's a couple of things of tools that we use in Unity that really go along well with being able to fulfill on some of your goals. One of those, and I think the one that I focus on the most, is meditation. So I've noticed, I have clients that try this on me. When I push them to meditate, they say things like, "Oh, I'm meditating all day long." No, you're not. Or I'm a runner, so I'm meditating when I'm on my run. Or I'm a bike rider, I'm meditating on my bike ride. So I'm a bike rider. And there are definitely times when I'm on the bike and I'm in the moment. And when I'm on the bike and I'm in the moment, in fact, if I start thinking about work or I start thinking about something else, I'll notice I slow down. And so by being on the bike and in the moment, that's when I can beat my time and I can go faster. But when I drop meditation out, the thoughts that come are trashy. When I drop meditation out, the thoughts that are there are way more trashy and way harder to navigate than when I'm meditating. Meditation on a daily basis is just like a prescription that I want to just tell you that no matter what will serve you all the time. If the only time you meditate is on Sunday in this church, then don't start doing it more, and don't let that drop off, because meditating is the one thing that I guarantee you will get you to a point where you can find some space between some of those trashy thoughts that the ego is going to throw at you as you're trying to be successful. And so meditating is the one thing that will get that to slow down. And it's one of the few things. Now, what I can promise you is that when you first start, or if you're not got a big muscle in meditation, that it takes some time, right? It takes some practice. It's a muscle that we flex to be someone who can meditate on a regular basis. and I recommend you do it for 20 minutes at least. If you could do it 20 minutes twice a day, that's awesome. But 20 minutes a day is great. And progress, not perfection. If you are only meditating 5 minutes a day, great. Increase it to 6, increase it to 8, increase it to 10. Whatever it takes to make progress towards you meditating longer and being still and just open to divine downloads, whatever it is that you do when you meditate, like do it longer. And until you get to that 20 minutes, and do not beat yourself up. Don't let that ego get at you when you get distracted and you can't sit there for any longer, because sometimes it happens. Sometimes you're meditating and you just won't shut up, right? Because you're stressed about something, or you got triggered by something, or there's something else going on. Don't make that one thing everything. Don't make that one time I meditated and I can't get my head going, or the first few weeks of meditation that you can't get your head in the game, mean that you can't meditate. As human beings, we have a tendency to decide things and make it mean stuff, right? And that's not the truth. It's not the truth of who you are at all. Meditation is one of the keys to staying successful and keeping in the game, because it helps you be conscious and it helps your brain get some space. So, given that, let's do some of it. I want to invite you, and in this meditation, what I'd like us to do today is for you to get present to that God self I talked about. So as I mentioned, you have a God self that lives within you. You can call it your higher self if the word God freaks you out. You can call it your spirit self. I don't care what you call it. But note that it is in you, because it is in every one of us. There's not anybody who's left out with the God self inside of them. There's not anybody who doesn't have a higher self. So I'm going to invite you now to get comfortable wherever you are. Some of you like to lay down to meditate. You're home, lay down. Some of you like to put both your feet on the floor and sit up straight. That's great. Do that. Get comfortable and get in your meditation place wherever that is for you. And then if you're comfortable, close your eyes. We're going to take just a couple of deep breaths. Just big deep breath all the way in and that out. Feel that relaxation that gives you. Can you feel that? Now that you've had a couple of deep breaths, don't worry about your breath. You're going to be breathed. The whole time your body's going to breathe you, and you don't need to worry about that. Just focus on my voice. And the first thing I want you to do is to locate your attention to your feet. And out of your feet, I want you to imagine cables, you could call it, or vines, if you like the earth better. Anything that has you be able to take your feet, plant them, and have vines or cables coming out of them down, 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 down to the center of the earth. They're going to go down through the building you're in. They're going to bust through all the rock and sediment. They're going to pick up leaves and twigs along the way. We're going to bust down to the core, to the center of the earth, the heart of the mother. Once you get down to the core, to the heart of the mother, I would like you to imagine wrapping those cables or those vines around that core of the earth. Anchor them somehow in your mind. Get anchored. And I want you to feel that good earth energy coming right back up to you. Feel that energy coming back up through those vines, back through that sediment and rock and water, up through the building you're in. Feel that energy coming up through your toes, coming up over your ankles and your calves. Feel that good earth energy coming up over your knees and your thighs, coming up over your hips and your pelvis. up to your waist. You are now planted like a flower in that good earth energy. Just feel yourself grounded there, attached. And I want you to say to yourself, I belong here. I belong here. I belong here. You are anchored to the earth. This is where you belong. And now I want you to take your focus and shift it to your crown chakra, which is just at the top of your head, the very crown. I want you to open up that crown chakra and feel source energy, God energy, if you will, coming from above. I like to imagine it as a lavender, healing lavender energy coming down. This energy is coming down your crown chakra, now coming over your head, over your third eye chakra, over your eyes. Feel it coming down over your nose, your ears, and your mouth. Coming down over your throat chakra, your shoulders. When it comes down into your heart chakra, you can feel it. Like I want you to imagine on a crisp, cool day when you step out in the sun and you can feel that warmth of the sun. I want you to feel that as it hits your heart chakra. And I want you to imagine throwing the shutters open of your heart, like there's shutters on your heart and you are throwing them open. You're opening up your heart and you feel that source energy hit your heart and just throws it open. So now you're grounded like a plant and you've got source energy coming down. And now this is a time to be still for a bit. I want you to see if there's any movement in your body. And just to check your body for movement, I want you to do your best to make your body as still as possible. Do not move if you can. Be still. Be still. And I want you to start to listen. And if anything comes through that's negative or ornery or judgmental, I want you to say thanks, move on now, and just let it go. That's not your God self. That's not who you're listening to right now. I want you to be still. Be still. Be still and know. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. And we're going to go into the silence. I want you to listen for that God voice that loves you like you were born into this love. And that God self, oh, it loves you so much and it wants nothing but greatness for you. And I'm going to be quiet and let you listen in the silence. As you start to come back, you can wiggle your toes. and your fingers start to come back into this moment. As you start to come back, I want you to hear that God self. I really, really, really want you to listen to it this week. Converse with it. Focus on it. Give it time. Think about how much time you give your busy life, your Facebook, social media, all the things that your day demands of you. This week, instead, I'm going to invite you to listen to your God self way more, to focus on that, to listen to it, to spend time with it, to engage with it, and to turn your day over to it every day. In this coming week, you're going to have an amazingly powerful week. This coming week, you are going to have an amazingly powerful week while engaging with your God self, practicing progress, not perfection. Because who you are is that God self. While you're living in this human skin, practicing progress, not perfection, is a way powerful answer. Before I leave, I want to remind you, via Marianne Williamson, that your deepest fear is not that you're inadequate. Your deepest fear is that you're powerful beyond measure. And it is your light, not your darkness, that most frightens you. You ask yourself, who am I to be talented, gorgeous, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of the universe, and your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. We were all of us, all of us, born to make manifest the glory. Think about the glory of the universe, the glory of God that is within you. And it's not just in some of us, it is in every one. And as you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As you're liberated from your own fear, your presence automatically liberates others. Thank you for letting me be with you today.
It's a matter of time. It's a matter of pride. It's a matter of shining as bright as the sun. It's a matter of living the life you are worthy of. Oh, living the life you are worthy of. Hey, beautiful.
I am so grateful for this unity community. Jay and Millie, thank you for those perfectly aligned messages about progress, not perfection, and yet what perfect timing to hear, to take in, and to live. Thank you. Powerful indeed. So now is our time of thanks and offering. I invite you to join me as we hold our gifts to this community in our hands and love in our hearts. Let's affirm together: divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Please go online to give via PayPal or write a check and mail it in to support the Unity of Lawrence ministry. I've taken Jay's advice on releasing things out of my mind and just turning it over electronically. And so it's very easy to set up a monthly, I don't even have to think about it. It just happens, poof, like magic. The machines do the work for me on offering and gift to Unity community, and it's just there. Thank you. Now let's join Holly in singing I Am Loved by Karen Draker.
Let's join together in this beautiful chorus. You are seen, you are heard, you are loved for who you are. You are enough, you are complete. You are loved. You are seen, you are heard, you are loved for who you are. You are enough, you are complete. You are loved. And we'll sing I am. I am seen, I am heard, I am loved for who I am. I am enough, I am complete. I am loved. Last time. I am seen, I am heard, I am loved for who I am. I am enough, I am complete. I am loved. I am loved.
We are so grateful, 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 grateful for all of the time and the talent that has been given here today. And we are grateful for the treasures that people share with us that complete and create our unity community. Thank you, Jay, for the beautiful reminder of progress, not perfection. And thank you, Holly and Millie, for the beautiful music. It is a beautiful day. And we give thanks for that. Thank you, God. Amen.
And thank you, Karen, for being our chaplain as well. Such powerful connectivity through Zoom and in person as we are able to do that more and more. Well, speaking of, join us this afternoon at 1 o'clock for our second Sunday gathering in the shade on the west side of the building. This will be the last gathering on the second Sunday since in-person services start August 1st. So come rain or shine as you will, 1 o'clock this afternoon. Please plan on joining us Saturday, July 17th for cleanup. Everybody do our share at the church. We will have donuts and coffee at 10 a.m. and then start getting our building ready to reopen on August 1st. We'll be deep cleaning inside and sprucing up the grounds outside. We look forward to seeing you all for a time of fellowship and fun this coming Saturday at 10. Join us next week as Kelly Hunt brings us special music and the message right before our eyes. Now let's bless our youth and each other, rubbing our hands together. Please say with me, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. I invite you to take Jay's message, Progress Not Perfection, and our mission statement at Unity of Lawrence with you this week. We are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. Now let's sing the original peace song with Holly and Bradford.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, children all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now for our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God washes over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is swell. We invite our speaker and others to stay online for a few minutes to visit via Zoom. And remember, we'll be in person soon. Progress, not perfection.